Welcome to the Sisterhood of Sweat, everybody. I am in the house with Elaine LaLanne. She is the first lady of fitness, and her husband, Jack LaLanne, was the godfather of fitness. They were a match made in fitness heaven. And you guys, Elaine is turning 93 soon. She is 92 years old, and she is full of energy, life, zest, vitality, and a little bit of vinegar. She tells it like it is. She shoots straight from the hip, and she has so much wisdom and love and just so many stories to share. You guys, her husband, he was a legend. He was a legend. And I can't wait to dive into this more so you can hear some of the amazing stories that she has to tell about him. It's just off the charts, the things that her husband did and how much she just loves him and still and carries on his legacy. And we will have a different bio for the podcast online. I like to just kind of go with the flow when you're live. So here we are going with the flow. And I want to, Elaine LaLanne, I want to introduce the one, the only Lala to the show.
You know how I got my name Lala? We were being introduced one time and this person was saying, this is Elaine. Oh no, this is Elaine LaLanne. And so Jack says, oh, just call her Lala. So that's how I got my name Lala. I've had all all sorts of stuff. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I have lived a long time. And if you've lived this long, honey, you've learned a lot.
Oh my gosh, right? It's wisdom. Wisdom comes each year you're alive. You get a little more wisdom, and you get a little less filter.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, I said I found something that Jack wrote years ago, and it has to do with success. And so he says in this, it's just very short. Success starts with you. Know what you want, and make a plan. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Plant your seed. Water it with small goals. Don't quit when discouraged. Remember, patience wins the race. Let no one make a decision for you. Learn a lesson from sports. You don't become a champion until you took time to learn to perfect it. Above all, believe in yourself. And one of the things he always talked about is have pride and discipline. So that's the beginning of our talk today, right?
Well, I know a little bit about the discipline part. Tell me about the pride. What do you think he meant by that?
Pride in yourself. Pride in, a lot of people don't have pride in themselves. They down themselves. They don't think they're good enough. They don't. You have to have pride. You have pride in your appearance. Pride in the way you handle yourself. Pride in the. Pride is a word that is very broad, actually. So you think what do you think pride is?
I think you're nailing it right there when you're talking about having pride in yourself and the self-care of your appearance. I know people think, oh, what does my appearance matter? It matters because it speaks about how you feel about you, I think.
Well, I think and people, they don't, well, when we grew up, when I grew up when I was in San Francisco, or even as a teenager in Minneapolis, I wore a hat and gloves, and well, we don't do that anymore, but at least you can be have pride in your appearance and not be too sloppy about it. That's
Right.
the only word I can think of is sloppy.
Right. Have some pride in yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, and absolutely. I was listening to Rachel Hollis. I don't know if you are up with that, but she's written this book called Girl Wash Your Face. And basically, my daughter-in-law to be and I were talking about this Girl Wash Your Face. And we're like, yeah, I think that kind of means like, you'll feel better. Girl, wash your face, you know, get up, clean yourself up, and get going, girl. Wash
Pull your hair.
Slap some water on your face. Oh my gosh. But I think like the same premise, getting up and getting moving, you know, even when you don't feel like moving, thinking about if I do move today and I get up this morning before the alarm clock goes off, how am I going to feel later? Think about how you're going to feel. I'm going to feel better because I got up, I got moving, I got my juices flowing, and I'm going to be in better shape.
And then when you get out of bed and then you go into the bathroom and you look in the mirror, you say, isn't it a wonderful day? And
Yes.
I feel wonderful. And instead of looking at yourself and saying, oh, I don't know, but just every morning get up, and when you go in there and look at yourself in the mirror, you just say how beautiful and wonderful you are. And it's going to be a great day. And this is going to be a great interview.
It is. It's going to be stupendous. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best interview I have ever had.
It's a lovely day today. Da, 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 da. Okay, so now it's going to be a lovely day. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I do believe what you're saying. Right. It goes right along with this morning when I was running on my treadmill early AM after boot camp class. I was listening to Joel Osteen, and he was talking about the words you speak, you know, how important they are to the direction you take. And he was like, I am, you know, he wanted his congregation to say, I am blessed. Yeah. I am beautiful. I am, you know, and you were saying all these I am.
Thoughts are things. What you think, and visualization. I mean, if you visualize what you want and what your goal is, then you can follow it. But if you don't visualize, watch your words. Watch those words that you use. Watch the I can't, I won't, I don't feel good. You know, watch all those negative words. My daughter that passed away years ago, we used to have a jar and we'd have to put a penny in it. And then this was in the 70s. And we'd have to put a penny in if we use certain words, you know. So if you use a negative word, you just find a jar and you put some money in it. Okay.
Okay. I love that. I think I'm going to start that in my household. I think that's a great idea. Actually, Elaine, I'm going to start it in my gym because then I'll be rich if people are saying negative words. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll be rich because they're not saying negative words and they're getting in amazing shape.
You know, and I do believe that one should use introspection. I don't think anybody thinks about the word introspection anymore because that's one of the words I learned years and years ago when I was going to University of Minnesota. I took this course and they were talking about introspection, looking into yourself. And look into yourself, look into the things that, you know, if somebody says something and you take the hint, you know, take the hint. Don't feel bad if you we all have these imperfections. And so look in yourself and see what we can do to make it better, you know. So that word, just keep thinking about introspection into myself. And rehashing the past is another. Jack used to say, oh, somebody would say to him, oh, I used to work out. Oh, you're a uster. You're a usta. You know, I used to do this. I used to do that. Well, why don't you be a now or a nower or whatever? I don't know what kind of a word I can think of. Anyway, you want to think, you don't want to be a usta. You want to be something that you're doing right now and looking forward to. Someone to love, something to do, and something to look forward to.
I think, you know, asking powerful questions of yourself and others, like a lot of times I will ask, well, why do you think you need to drink to have fun? Like, you don't think you can have fun without alcohol? I mean, you know, I think, you know, that's worth a question, you know, and to really, like you said, be introspective. You know, why am I afraid of that? And then just kind of drill it down. You know, why am I afraid to go to the gym? Why don't I want to work out? Why do I want to work out?
Right. Well, being afraid, you know, that's we all have that feeling of being afraid, especially when we come into something new. And talking about being afraid, I mean, I have been, you know, with this Zoom, I mean, after our fiasco the other day trying to get started in this interview, I said, oh, I don't know whether I want to be here all by myself and try to get into the Zoom.
Hey, you did it. You're here.
I zoomed right in.
Yeah, we pushed the wrong button earlier, you guys, when we came on, and she lost me. She couldn't hear anything I was saying, so that'd be hard to answer any questions.
I know could you hear me? I didn't know whether you could.
Yeah, I could totally hear you.
But anyway, I was trying, she says, well, get on Facebook. And so I punched the Facebook thing, and then everything went away.
Yeah.
So I did something wrong. So
it's okay. You know what? I think people out there probably have all had their challenges with technology, and they probably give you so much grace.
Well, you know, another thing that people do, they make excuses, you know, and they're a pity party people there, and they make excuses. Well, I don't know, I've got a bad back, I can't exercise. Well, Jack used to say, well, why can't you exercise your arms, or why can't you exercise your upper body, you know, or you could something is better than nothing, you know. So but what's your excuse? Everybody has an excuse for something or another. But
yeah, and excuses really don't get you anywhere. I mean, if you really think about it, I just had my hamstring reattached, and there's always a way to work around your injury and work forward, and you know, take the best care you possibly can and focus on what you can do rather than what you can't do anymore or what you used to do. Focus on what you can do now, what you can do today, and the small steps you can take.
And there's a lot of times we think we do something and we think, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. And you got to forgive yourself too. You've got to learn to forgive other people, and you've got to learn to forgive yourself in life if you want to have a happy life, you know. So yeah, forgiving is a very important part of life, of living life to its fullest, you know. So
yeah, because you can't hold on to all that baggage.
No, yesterday, Jack used to say, yesterday is gone, tomorrow isn't here yet. So this is the most important day of your life. Right now, this moment, this moment that we're having today is the most important of our life.
Yeah, and tell us about some of those pictures back there I see on the wall. I see Jack in a suit.
Right, right here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was taken at, years ago at the office. This is a drawing that he got for his 95th birthday from a friend. And then this picture here is, it's never been done before. This picture is Harold Zinkin. He was a Mr. California and whatnot, and he had he was with in other words, he made one of the first universal gym equipment, and he did back then at Muscle Beach. This is Mo. Until Jack got in, Harold said until he got into this position, they couldn't do this. That's a 3 high on his stomach. And it's never been done in the United States again, but it's been done in Russia. Finally did it in Russia. This is Charlie McCarroll, Dr. Charlie McCarroll. He's still alive. He's 97, and he's one of Jack's first students. And can you see this picture over here?
No, I can't see it.
That's Jack's mother. Yeah. But anyway, so
that's pretty fabulous. So tell the viewers, for some of the people that may be younger or maybe they don't know all the amazing feats, tell them a few of the crazy, amazing feats that Jack performed.
Well, Jack was he opened his first physical culture studio in 1936. He invented the first leg extension machine. If you're using a leg extension machine, that came out of his brain. The first weight selector came out of his brain. The weight selector that you just select the weights and with a pulley, and then he invented the squat machine, which is now called the Smith machine. He invented that, but he never patented any of this stuff. And then the people that just went from his gym and opened other gyms, and then the fellow that made his equipment, Jack used to take all his ideas to this blacksmith in Oakland, and he had a fellow do patterns for him. He'd draw out what he wanted, and then Jack Palmer would draw up the patterns and then bring it to Paul Martin in San Francisco, in Oakland, and then he would make the equipment. And this is the equipment I'm telling you about: the leg extension, the squat machine, pulley machine, the wall pulleys. All those came out of Jack's head. And then when I met Jack on television in San Francisco, I had him on as an interview. And then he started his show on KGO. So I was on an 1.5-hour show every day from 4:30 to 6. They got this guy who could do push-ups for your whole show. Oh boy. So we brought him over and he did push-ups through our whole 1.5-hour show. We had an orchestra and we had leftover from radio. And then in 1951, he started his show on KGO. And then he had a little exercise class at KGO, and I joined the exercise class. And then we danced at a company party. We've danced ever since. But anyway, that's how we met. But then I went to work with him, and we developed the instant breakfast. That was us. There were no protein on the market. No, and then we developed the Glamour Stretcher, which was the stretching. Now today you have everybody's got a protein. Today everybody's got a stretcher. I mean, but who did it? We did it, but nobody knows that. I'm not one that goes out there but I'm working now on a book, and I've just finished a book. We'll talk about.
Hold it up for us so we can see it.
Okay, so but then I've got a book coming out later on too, hopefully in another couple of years, about his life. So
that's going to be amazing too.
This is the book.
If you want to live, move, put the boom back in boomers.
Yeah. So here we're targeting to boomers. You know, they now all these articles are, and all these magazines are writing about how the boomers are well, as Jack would call it, suffering from pooped out-itis. Remember in the early days, they would he would, you know, they were gung ho and exercise, and they did everything, and so now they're 70 and 60, and you know, and Jamie Brinkus that I'm doing the book with, he's the one that had the idea for putting the boom back in the boomers, because he's 57 years old and he's at the end of the boomers. But so he's the one that wanted to do this book with me. So we're going to, it'll be out. Well, I think it's today. It's out on Amazon. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, you guys got to go out and get a copy and support Lala.
But actually, it's the printing. That's the e version of it. The e version will be out, but the printed book won't be out until next, probably in February. But if you're interested, it's www.8minuteworkouts.com, and you can that's where you can order it. So if you're interested in ordering our putting the boom back in the boomers, it's www.8minuteworkouts.com, and this is the back of the book. And
how do we put the boom back into the? I am a boomer.
Okay. Well, there's all sorts. We've got in the book. We've got reshape. First of all, we start out with renew. We've got all sorts of inspirational things to renew you. We want to give you. We want to put pep in your step through inspiration.
Zip back in.
We want to zip you up with inspiration. So that's the renew part. Okay. We talk about our lives. We talk about Jamie's life, how he got started. We talk about my life and Jack's life. And mine was so long, I put the rest of it in the back of the book. So
oh, I can't wait to read that part.
And then so we've got renew. Now we reshape. We've got exercises. Now we're only asked for 8 minutes to start. See, now we don't want to, and we don't expect you to be perfect. You know, so many people want to, they think they have to be so perfect. So he has the 80%. If you do 80%, it's like Jack says, if it's not what you do some of the time that counts, it's what you do most of the time that counts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the 80%, formula. But so now that we have the reshape, and we have some simple exercises we got that you can do every day, some wake up exercises for you to do, and all we're asking to start is 8 minutes. But of course, naturally, we think you're going to go farther once you get started. But you don't jump from the bottom rung of the ladder to the top of the ladder. So you want to, and Jack always said, make haste slowly. And this book is really based on the philosophy and health style of Jack LaLanne. And there's a lot of Jack in there, a lot of pictures of Jack in there, a lot of pictures of me when I was younger, when I'm doing all these exercises, and it's probably in probably 1986 or 88, but I was 60 years old. So the exercises you see me doing in the book, I did when I was 60. So anyway, then Denise Austin has made a little comment on the back of the book.
Well, that's great.
Forbes Riley did a big long forward for me, and so we give you fitness tips and secrets and simple body movements and stories about our lives, as I told you before. So anyway, we want you to have fun as you climb over your hill. if you've got low energy and or creasing weight or sagging skin, achy bones, joint, or melancholy. Well, so the third part is refuel, and we talk about dining out, dining in, giving tips for this, tips for that. So it's we try to put everything in there. So I want you to hopefully you'll go into the 8minuteworkout.com and order
I
it.
love that. I love that. How often do you work out, and how long do you work out per day?
I work out every day, and you know that I have not been a workout person that works. If I got 20 minutes a day in, I mean, enthusiastically, I did it. I kept in shape, and my stomach is as hard as a rock. And
I can attest to that.
Jack used to say, hit me in the stomach, hit me in the stomach. He was as flat as a pancake.
And you have a ton of energy, a ton to have a good diet.
Yeah, well, I do. I watch my diet. I'm going to confess something to everyone right now. All those years for Jack, like 35 or whatever it was when I turned 80. I can't remember. When I turned 80, I said, and I didn't ever eat a piece. I didn't eat cake because before that I ate chocolate donuts and cake and all this stuff and soft drinks and candy bars. So after I met Jack and we started dating and everything, I changed my life. And so when I was 80 and I didn't do anything, I was always good all those years. Jack, I'm 80 years old. Now, if I want a piece of cake, I'm going to have a little piece of cake. It's a birthday card. I'm not going to overdo. If I want some ice cream, I'm going to have a little ice cream. So, of course, remember, it's not what you do some of the time, it's what you do most of the time, I said. And if I die, I die. I'm still
Oh my gosh. So you're like, that reminds me of my father. He just finally hit a certain point. He was always a health nut. But when he hit a certain age, he's like, I'm not going to be hanging in a museum someday. And I think I want to have some things before I go.
Well, Jack, up to the day he died, he never deviated. He had self-discipline that you cannot believe. I mean, he was incredible that way. I mean, he actually walked the walk and talked the talk. No sneaking around for him. That was it.
He was what you see is what you get, huh?
Yep. And if you want to, he did drink wine. We do have a glass of wine. So he was a Frenchman, so he had his wine.
My husband will like that. He's probably listening right now. He's a redhead too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Say hi to Tracy. Say hi to Tracy, everybody.
Hey Tracy, this is the back of the book.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it. I love it. Tell them about, how in the world did he swim from Alcatraz to the mainland with his hands shackled behind his back?
Okay. This how it started. When he was 40 years old, in those days, in the 50s, everybody thought that you were over the hill when you were 50 years old. Okay. So he wanted to prove that when you're 40 years old, you're not over the hill. So he decided to swim from Alcatraz to the mainland handcuffed. And so he did. And he swam from Alcatraz to Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco. So now, because we lived in San Francisco at that time. Then 60 now in 19 now he's 60 years old. Now he says, I think I'm going to swim from Alcatraz to the mainland, handcuffed, and my feet will be shackled, and I'm going to tow a 1,000-pound boat from Alcatraz to the mainland. I said, you gotta be kidding. So he went up there, and well, first of all, he had to go. I put him in the bathtub. We put him in the bathtub with this bathing suit on. And I used to go down, and we lived in LA in those times. And I used to go get a these great big bags of ice about that huge. I mean, it's huge. And so I would come back and I'd put it and dump it on him in the bathtub. And so he would sit in there for an hour, freezing to get used to the water in San Francisco. So then he goes up into San Francisco, and he practices at the San Francisco Rowing Club. And so now he does it, and he does that, and he swims that in 1974, and that's when he was 60 years old. He was 60 years old when he swam from Alcatraz to the mainland, handcuffed and shackled, and feet shackled, and towing a 1,000-pound boat. So now now he's going to swim underneath the Golden Gate Bridge underwater, and so that's the next year. So he swims underneath the Golden Gate Bridge underwater, all the way across. And then the next year he would decide to go to Long Beach, and he would he's going to tow. Now that was the centennial. So he towed 76 people in 13 boats for the 13 colonies, and for 1776. And so that's how he towed all these 13 boats with 76 people in them, Long Beach Harbor, 1.5 miles. And then on his 70, then on his in where was he in Tokyo, he towed 65 boats with 6,500 pounds of wood pulp in it, in Lake Oshinoko.
Wow.
At the foot of Mount Fuji. And then on his 70th birthday, and if he did any more, I told him I was going to divorce him. So on his 70th birthday, he towed 70 boats with a person in each boat, 1.5 miles in Long Beach Harbor. And so that's it, Jack. I'm divorcing you. You can do any more? He says, you know what he said?
It's over. What did he said what?
He says, promise.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
He had a great sense of humor. So funny. You know, Jack was he could have been a comedian, and he could have been a singer. I mean, we have on our website, you know, his singing with Connie Haynes, Climb Every Mountain, and I Believe. So, because Jack ends all his lectures with I Believe. I always say, Jack, after he lectures, I said, how many people believe that Jack believes? And I raise your hand, and they all raise. How would you like to hear him sing I Believe?
Oh, I love that.
Well, and so I have him sing I Believe, and he wanted to be an opera singer at one time. So he sings it a cappella right on key. And my God, that's how we get the standing ovations.
Oh, wow. That's really awesome. Now you make me want to hear the song, I Believe.
Well, I'll send one to you. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, well, how it all happened, Connie Haynes sang with Frank Sinatra, and Connie Haynes sang with Jane Russell and some of the other girls. They had a group years ago. Anyway, so they were sitting at our table in LA at one time, and she was with these friends, and we were having dinner, And she says, I end all my concerts with I believe. And Jack says, well, I end all my lectures with I believe. So he, oh my gosh. So they burst into song and they sing I believe together. And one of the fellows that was at the dinner table, he knew people at Capitol Records. So he says, let's go down and record that tomorrow. So they go down and they go down the next day and they record it. And so they only had one song. So she taught him in 20 minutes, Climb Every Mountain. So they had a piano player. And so the pianist played for them and they sang, then I Climb Every Mountain. So now later on, we put the voices with it, the background voices, how you do that. So anyway, it's kind of a fun little thing. We sold it on our website along with all our videos. We have our exercise. Jack, all his shows we have 50 of his old time shows, on black and white. And they are so inspirational. You cannot believe them. So we have those on, we also have those on our website.
I'm
all sorts of stuff.
I'm going to watch some of them. I know I did when I was a kid, but I'm going to have to check some out again because I love inspiration. I love being inspired and motivated. And one of the things that really stands out to me is what a legacy he left. I mean, like seriously, for all of us to enjoy, because women are in the gym now, because back in the day, women weren't in the gym, but Jack was all about women working out in the gym.
He had women working out in the gym, and women didn't work out in those days. And
yeah,
people made fun of him. They called him a nut and a crackpot, and things were, in those days, it was a no-no. And if a woman did work out, she had to sneak in the gym, she's sneaking. And and he's the one that popularized working out and made it okay to work out, made it all right through his shows. And these are some of the shows that you will see. But it's that's how it all started. And if you want to know how it all started, that's how it did. But the young people today do not know. They just take it for granted that this is the way it is. And then they say that people used to ask Jack, well, where did you go to school to learn all this? Well, he devised it out of his head because he read Gray's Anatomy, and plus he went to chiropractic college, and he knew all the workings of the body through the chiropractic. So he wasn't, but he never practiced chiropractic because in those days, after he graduated, he had opened his first physical culture studio in 1936. So the doctors were against, and he had a lot of doctors sending him back patients at his gym. So he wasn't about to tell anybody he was a chiropractor. But now, later on he did, but in those days, it was a no-no to, if you wanted to have doctors send you patients, So that's the way it was. So,
what do you think that the secret was to Jack leaving such a legacy, and how can we today leave our own legacies?
Your first question was what again?
What do you think the secret was to Jack leaving such a legacy?
Well, because he believed. I mean, I think his secret was, if you were ever in a conversation with him, you'd always hear something about believing in yourself. And if you believe in yourself and you have a goal and you water as I said earlier, about plant your seed and water it with small goals. Well, if you do this and you water your goals and you don't jump from the bottom rung to the top rung, or you don't jump from when you first start, you're not an athlete, you know, you gotta become one step at a time. So I think that's it. And how can you do it? Well, I think you can do it because you do believe and you follow through, and you're watering that seed all the time. When you water that seed and you water that plant grows, and that's how it all grows. I mean,
Yeah, I love the fact that his entire family is leading his legacy on, and you guys all speak so highly of him. Like when I was at the conference, you know, your son, your daughter-in-law, everybody had a story to tell about Jack.
yeah, right. Well, if you've ever met him, you'll have a story to tell, because he was not only, see, he was serious, but he was funny, you know, and he could, you know, he would, I'd say, okay, Jack, I'll be there shortly. He says, I'll be there longly. And, you know, stuff like that, you know. And I've got some bloopers that I show in my lectures when I go out to lecture, and when I show some clips of Jack and his swims, and so when I go out to lecture, I show this bloopers at the end, and that we did, and one of the things that he is so funny, well, one of the funny things he said, it's just a quick little thing. He says, I said, we were doing a tease for our 1 minute tip of the day for a TV show. And so Jack says, oh, this is my lovely wife, Elaine. And I started laughing. And he says, why are you laughing? And he says, I said, that pause. I said, you paused. Like, so so it was an outtake, you know. So I said, and he looks at me, and he looks down at his hands. He says, I've got short pause.
Not a long pause.
I mean, things, you know, I mean, stuff like that, you know, he just, it's, I've seen him, and he did everything ad lib, you know, all his shows were ad lib. I mean, he had a kind of a format that he wanted to follow, but I mean, he'd open with this or do this, but everything came right out of his brain. He never had any notes or anything. And same with his lectures. He always, no notes, no anything.
I know. I just, you know what, I find for myself, just maybe a couple points I know I might talk about, but it's always better if it's just a free-flowing conversation from the heart.
Right. That's the way I feel. Well, that's why I feel so comfortable with you, because that's the way I go too. I'm a very, I mean, off the cuff person, you know.
Well, I love that about you. I love that so much.
We grew up, you know, on television alive. So when television wasn't, they didn't film or tape in those days when we first started. So we don't have a lot of that footage. So
oh, wow.
Live. We were all live in those days. And I can remember on our hour-and-a-half show, we were showing a car, and they drove the car into the studio and through the guy, and so they had to take a door off to get it in, and then they put the door back on. So the fellow that I work with, he opens the door, and the door falls off because it wasn't put back on properly. And he's selling the car.
Actually, I wish I could watch TV back in that day. It would probably be very entertaining.
Well, it was. Yes, much like you. Hello. Oh. Oh, I lost you.
Did you lose me? Can you hear me though?
I can hear you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay, so
we're still getting you on the camera. It's probably went down to your bottom of your screen or something crazy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna move anything. As long as you can see me, I'm happy.
Oh my gosh. So why do you think the secret is? Because you were married for how many years?
Over 50 years. Yeah.
What is the secret to a long and happy marriage?
Well, we've always said, I think it's being a friend, being making your husband your friend, and not, and having your own. In other words, don't be a clinger. Don't cling. Don't be clinger on. You know, have your own agenda to do. Don't
Have some of your own things. Yeah.
Yes, right. I mean, because I don't think. You know, you can't cling. I mean, you can't. Jack says you can't stay in the bed, you know, all day. You know, so.
I don't want to.
But anyway, you really you just make it easy on yourself and enjoy your and enjoy your time together and try to be friends. Try to like to do the same thing. We all like to go to movies together um, and don't try to be all too one-sided. I mean, it's a give and take situation too, you know. So
Right. Absolutely.
I think that's how do you feel about it? I mean, about your
I think it's important to be able to laugh at yourself, you
yeah.
know, like, and to be able to admit when you're wrong, or if you need to apologize. And don't, I guess, just remember your spouse is not your enemy. You're on the same team.
Right. That's so true. And don't try to be a pity party. I know I'm not a pity party person, you know.
Yeah. Well, what would you like to tell all the viewers out there that they can do to, you know, if they're feeling maybe depressed today or they're not feeling good about themselves, that they can do to make themselves feel better?
Well, think of all the good attributes of yourself. I mean, okay, all right, take a pencil and paper. Write down all the good things about you and and concentrate on all the good things. You know, we talked about forgiving. If you feel bad about something, forgive yourself for it and start all over. It's a new day. It's a new minute. Every minute of the day is a new beginning for you, and think of today as a new beginning. And the past is past. You can't repeat it. You can't. It's like a golf game. I mean, I'm a golfer, so I can't go back and repeat my shot. I've got in my book. Uh, I talk about this. I and I give an example. Okay, I I land my ball behind a sand trap. Okay, now I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what if I go in that sand trap? What if I go in? Well, guess what? I went right in that sand trap.
Because you're focused on that.
I was focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're focusing on your depression, you're focusing on that, then you're
all you can think about
going to happen. You know, as it goes back to that old stuff. That thoughts are things, and you whatever you and you speak your word. When you speak your word, it comes back to you. So when you want to speak your word, you want to speak a positive word so that it can come back to you as a manifestation.
Well, I truly believe that. And it's so funny, you know, like I was doing this gratitude, I was doing this mindset reset with Mel Robbins, the #1 motivational speaker. And she's, you know, written this book, The 5-Second Rule, but she said to get this Calm app. So I got it and I was doing this meditation and it was all about gratitude. And pretty soon what I realized is that it took my focus to happiness.
Yeah.
And because I was a little down because I wasn't able to move for like 3-4 months with my hamstring. And it made me feel gratitude and happy. And I think it's just that focusing on being happy made me happy. Focusing on being grateful made me feel like just pure joy.
Think about your arc. Okay, arc, attitude. Your attitude toward life, your attitude toward, as we were just talking. Resistance, arc, A-R, arc. Arc. R is for resistance. Resisting the temptation to eat junk food. And resisting is resistance is the key to getting the job done in exercise. In other words, the more resistance you give your body, the more strength it's going to have. And then C, what is C? Attitude, A-R-C. Contribute to your life. Contribute to your life, and life's a battlefield, and you don't want to you have to work at living, so
you have to make a contribution,
right? So consistency is the last one. Consistency is consistent in your in your workouts and consistent in your eating habits. So that's my arc, and I thought if you might try that arc, attitude, resistance, and consistency, it's something to think about. So yeah, you can't change any situation. You can't change it. I mean, you can't change what has happened, what I mean, but you can change it. You can change your good habits, bad habits for good habits. You can change. The only thing constant about life is change. Yeah.
The only thing you control is yourself too, right?
You've got to learn to love yourself.
Yeah.
And you are your very best friend. I am my very best friend. I don't have a best friend. I don't have anything best. I don't have a favorite anything, because everybody's so individualized. But I am my best friend, and I enjoy myself. I can enjoy my alone days. I can enjoy people. I enjoy everything. I just enjoy. And the thing is, the most important thing is about try to enjoy every moment. You know, I learned a long time ago, my father used to say, wherever I hang my hat is home. Well, that's kind of the way I feel. I feel wherever I hang my hat is home, and I'm happy, you know? So
I love that. Wherever you are.
Yes, right.
Wherever you are. It's a choice, basically. And you can choose it, and no matter what the situation.
Yeah. Well, you want to remain positive all your life. You know, don't look back. When you look back, we all have a tendency to do that. But, you know, just get it, sweep it out.
Yeah. I love that. Well, there's no school like the old school, you guys. Yeah. My goodness. My dad would always say, you know, why focus on the negative? There's enough good to think about. Focus on the good, focus on the positive, because
keep a smile on your face.
Do that, you're going to have more positive. When you focus on, you know, the good things, you're going to have more good things.
Right. Oh, you know, keep a smile on your face is, have you ever smiled at somebody that looks really down, and maybe you're at the market, or maybe you're walking along, and this person looks really, sometimes they look even mean, you know, and you smile at them and they smile back, you know. And so if you smile at somebody, they'll smile back at you most of the time. I found.
I love that. I love that so much. I really am so like thankful that you came on today to talk to everybody, and we got through the crazy
Yeah,
glitch in the on the internet to
I'm
be able to
sorry
have
about
this
Facebook,
powerful conversation.
but it's on your Facebook, right? This is on.
Yeah, and I'm gonna share it to yours
Oh,
so
great.
everybody can see it.
Because
Yes.
I,
So
I'm not
I
the technical person in the world on this, on all this new. I try to learn. I can do all this stuff in the computer, but every day there's something new, and you know, I'm a little slow on the draw catching up. So, but
Hey, I am right there with you. I mean, you know, I'm a boomer too. And like learning, yeah, all of these things, you guys, you
yeah,
just gotta, you know, go with the flow and know that if you keep at it, you're gonna be successful. And make sure you go out and get a copy of Elaine LaLanne's book.
yeah, it's on double. It's on. You can order it on 8minuteworkouts.com, and then or you can get it on ebook on Kindle versions on Amazon. I think today, but if not tomorrow or the next week. And I think it's like $4.99 for just the ebook. But we're going to have a nice book that you can keep on your house, and I think that you'll enjoy it when you. And let's talk about your book because we couldn't find it.
Yeah, you guys.
Okay,
I
confess,
don't I
confess.
don't have a copy in my house. I was looking everywhere because I wanted to show Elaine. I have two books. I have The Sisterhood of Sweat, which was my first book, and it just came out on Audible, so you can listen to it. It came out this week, you guys. So that really brings it to life. I highly recommend getting it. Spoke to me and I wrote it. I mean, I highly recommend getting The Sisterhood of Sweat on Audible. And if you are looking to get in the best shape of your life nutritionally, get The Sweat Project. I have had people losing significant amounts of weight and getting in the best shape of their lives. So try that out and
Try this out too. You
make
want
sure you get her book.
Jack coined this. We took this from Jack. If you want to live, move, and then we putting the boom back in boomers into the boomers. So,
I love that. I love that. The whole thing. I
so
mean, it's
okay,
all
it's
good. It's all good.
8minuteworkouts.com. You can order it or on Amazon. Okay, ebook.
And and make sure you guys give Elaine a glowing review in iTunes and give her some love and reach out to her on social media. Where can they find you on social media?
I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. So you're going to share this with Facebook, I
Yes,
hope.
I will. And it'll be in the show notes. So reach out to Elaine and tell her
Yeah.
how much you really enjoyed her interview. And
Yeah, I'd love to hear from some of you. Yeah. So thank you so much.
thank you
Well,
so much.
go out and do a great day today. Oh, you want to see my muscle?
Oh my gosh, yeah, let's oh my god, you guys, she's got guns. Oh my god. I love you so much and I thank you so much for
Well,
coming
I
on the
just enjoy
Sisterhood
you
of
so
Sweat.
much, Linda. And you are an inspiration yourself, and keep up the good work and keep on keeping on. Okay.
Thank you so much.